We're good? Okay. Hi, we're calling the planning board meeting to order. Today's Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. It's 4:00. I'm Gail Hall filling in for Margie Cummings this evening. Sosha's here, Claire, Chris, and Bill. So we have a quorum. Number one on the agenda is the State of Rhode Island and Block Island Water District, Plat 9, Lot 87, Payne Road, advisory to the zoning board. Application by the Block Island Water District for a special use permit under section 306E and section 417 to construct a structure to house the well pump, control valves, and water supplies. And I missed these meetings, so I'm gonna have Chris Willie take care of what else will be said on this matter.
I don't think anybody had any questions.
Yeah, I came last month and there's too many Cummingses here. And yeah,
Following findings of fact, there's an existing structure with a plat. Within the plat, an unused Woodward Tree Tower designated as a source. Post well house to be used to contain electric control for the well pumps for the water treatment process. On May 18th, 2022. Rhode Island Water Research Board, is that what that is? All right, good already.
yeah,
Purchased the Schmidt property. On May 10th, 2022, the Rhode Island Water Resource Board entered into a ground lease agreement with Block Island Water Company to develop a new groundwater supply source. Number 5, 2 new wells have been installed. Number 6, the proposed structure will have no permanent occupants. Number 7, well house requires a special use permit for section 306E of the zoning ordinance. Number 8, the development is also subject to the requirements of section 417 of the zoning ordinance. The second,
Second,
all in favor?
aye.
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 No,
Sir.
wait, thank you.
Thank you for coming, John.
book.
The second item on the agenda is Muddy Paws LLC, Plat 6, Lot 72-2, fire number 149, Old Town Road. Advisory to the zoning board application for a variance from section 308C and a special use permit by Deborah Frost and Christopher DeCaro for the reconfiguration of a first floor and to add a second floor to a dwelling. Expansion of a previously approved special use permit under a detached multifamily development. Are you here for this? Terrific. Would you step up to the mic and make sure it's on? And then if you could give us an explanation of your project.
You'll be able to hear me anyway, so.
Okay,
The green light's on.
okay.
It is on.
It's
So,
people who are watching from their
Oh, I got you.
computers or at home. that-
okay. We're basically taking an existing property with the existing footprint and bringing it down to the first floor and then going up with a new first floor and a new second floor. We're not changing the size by an inch. Everything is existing. So there's no footprint increase, whether it be deck or house.
Okay. I have a question. Does anyone, before I ask, does anyone from the board have questions regarding the application?
I do not.
I don't.
Okay, I had a question for you, Chris. In the application, I wasn't sure if it was a demolition or a modification.
I went to the building department today and actually spoke with Chuck and Tom,
Okay,
and they're just saying it's a modification.
okay. So as long as that's clearly stated in the application, and then in the building plans, I noticed there weren't dimensions in the plan so that the board will know in the future, if anyone's looking over these plans, will know that the footprint didn't change.
Okay.
Can your architect, before you go to zoning, can they add those dimensions so that
I-
they'll be in the?
I thought they were, but I can certainly have him add something if it's missing.
Okay, then it shows forever that you did state it
Sure.
in your footprint and there would not be any question in the future.
Sure.
Okay, well then we would go to an advisory to the zoning board, correct? So, I would like to, bear with me, I don't usually chair the meeting.
You could see if any board members have any questions and, or
No,
if
you
Peter
already
has
did
any
that.
questions.
Oh, yeah, and Mary, you just stepped in. Did you have any questions about the Muddy Paws application? The Old Town Road condominium that's being modified? You're gonna put a second story, not changing footprint. I
Yeah.
requested that maybe the building plans could have dimensions so that
Mhm.
that's noted in perpetuity.
No, the materials were interesting to me, just very basic, but they have to go in front of HTC next as well.
We already have.
You already have?
Okay.
We did that the end of last year, actually. That was the first place we had to go through.
Okay.
So they gave us our height requirements and
Mhm.
siding, windows,
Great.
all of that, what we had to
The
meet.
the deck, the materials, the side,
Yes.
Any other questions?
No.
No.
Or, well, then I can make a motion that we send a favorable advisory to the zoning board with the following findings of fact. 149 Old Town Road is on plat 6, lot 72 with 4 total buildings. The lot is divided into 3 land condominiums. Condominium 1 contains a 3-story dwelling with 2 decks. Condominium 2 contains a 2-story dwelling with 1 deck and a barn with a deck. Condominium 3, the condominium to be modified, contains a 2-story dwelling with a deck. Only the dwelling on condominium 3 will be altered. There will be no change to the building's footprint, and that'll be noted in the building plans. A second story will be added. The lot abuts Milltail Swamp and Pond. The lot previously received a special use permit recorded in land evidence records on book 364, page 127. And as part of the previous grant of special use permit on this lot, the lot received a variance for lot area for the number of units. Do I have a second to my, or you don't have to second a favorable advisory, correct?
Yes.
But you wanna
You
condition
just made
it.
Right, so
huh?
you just made a motion, so if
For
you
the
want a second,
dimensions.
and then you can add,
Okay.
Second,
okay.
so you make it conditional that the numbers are entered on the
Okay.
plan.
So the motion is made with the condition that the findings of fact are noted.
And you're adding the
Dimensions on the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really just the width and depth of the building so that
Yeah,
the math is done in the future and the deck.
Yeah, sure. I thought it was on there, but it's not a problem.
Okay. That should be all correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now you just have to vote on the motion.
Oh, so, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Gotta go catch a ferry.
Oh, hurry.
It's a little rocky today.
Thank you. Okay, number 3 on the agenda tonight. We have zoning ordinance amendment, review and act on amendments, recommendation to the town council, including a finding of consistency with the comprehensive plan. Section 202 definitions, floor area and gross area. Section 406 residential structures meeting certain thresholds. This was briefly discussed last month. I missed last month's meeting. Peter, will you present for us?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. So there was an ordinance amendment prepared by the Land Use Council. That is because the state changed the definition of floor area ratio. The council's advice is that we change our regulations so that basements are not counted as part of the floor area of a development. And so where that really impacts things is the large house ordinance, section 406. And so at the last meeting, there was some concern from the board that section 406 should be revisited to make sure that to see how this change would impact that ordinance. So I went and researched this a bit and prepared a memo that's in front of you. And a lot of it is just quoting the existing section 406. But long story short is I thought that there would be some impact, and kind of the easiest way to handle this might just be lowering the threshold for a large house by 10%. So if you look bottom of page 4 of the memo, it drops the footprint from 2,000 to 1,800, living area from 4,000 to 3,600, gross area from 5,000 to 4,500, and building volume from 45,000 to 41,050 cubic feet.
I have a quick question just about that. I think I agree with that idea. I just was wondering why building footprint was decreased, because I didn't think that basements counted in the the building foot, like why are we decreasing? If I missed something there.
No, that's a good point. I don't know if Jen has thoughts on this.
Sure, it counts for gross area.
Right. The gross area, the living area it counts towards.
It doesn't
Volume.
count for-
This was,
if it's unfinished, it counts for the gross area. I think that's what you're.
I'm looking at the building footprint and specifically,
on
I
page
thought building volume, sorry, on page 4, where Peter
Mhm.
just left off, I was just curious why we're
No,
including
that's a good catch.
building footprint and potentially living area as well, because if it's unfinished basement, then it didn't count
Correct.
before, it doesn't count now. So why are we changing those numbers? Was one
Finished
of the
basements
questions.
used to count and they no longer count.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I guess then just the building footprint.
I don't know. I agree, and I have to think more about the total living area. Why would we change it if they're not counting?
So finished basements are now exempt.
Exactly. So why
living area.
would we change the total living area?
Because it doesn't count towards it anymore,
Oh, and it
so.
did before.
It did
Okay,
before.
sorry. Sometimes it takes me a bit. I have to think about this a little bit. How does everybody else feel?
Well, I have like 2 questions. One, I'm just curious with the first question. What made you decide on 10%? That's an interesting number.
Yeah, so not all of the large houses that come in have basements. Not all of them will have basements. I guess it could be up to 50% of a large house, although that's unlikely. It's probably more often closer to 30%. So I was trying to pick a number that was fair. A 3,600 square foot house is a big house. 2,800 square feet, maybe not. So I think there is a number that's a sweet spot that gets closer to the intent of the original large house ordinance.
Thank you. The second question may also be a comment. Can a special use permit nullify all of this?
So you need the special
Mhm.
permit if you would exceed the thresholds on
Right.
that page.
But
There's
could,
different requirements in that special use permit.
I'm just thinking,
You
it's,
have to meet those standards that are under 406.
that's true.
So this is just, before this change, it was whether the basement was finished or not, and it's included you include it for some of the definition and, floor area or living space, not
Yeah.
depending on, what you're
So
looking
if
at,
you,
but
if you go above 3,000 square feet, you have the additional limitations that are at the bottom of page 3, top of page 4, which we did alter earlier this year.
right, so there's 3, like, one is prohibited, there's numbers that are prohibited, and there's numbers that are allowed by right, and then the special use. permit.
Right,
So
yeah.
you would see it as an advisory to the zoning board, and the zoning board would review. the
That's true.
application.
Just, curious comments.
Mhm.
That's all I have on that. I kind of think it's clever, frankly. But maybe there's some unintended consequences that I'm not seeing.
Just,
And you could amend it, we'll just keep an eye on things and you could amend it in the future.
just piggybacking on the question that Sosha had, I was also wondering, if these are the thresholds at which you need a special use permit, do we need to change the maximum
Oh,
that's allowed in that
Yes, I have that
um,
too.
as well?
Fine.
You know, there's that slot where you
Mhm.
need a special use permit, but then you can't go over a certain amount, and I think the
Right,
maximums need to be
right,
changed to reflect these changes, in my opinion.
Good point.
So does everyone need a little time to review and go over this next meeting? I know I wouldn't be in favor of the 1,800 square feet. I think that's gonna put far too many applications into the special use category.
That
When-
would be
when
a
people are building.
consequence. That would be a consequence, wouldn't it?
Mhm.
Well, I just don't think that the 1,800, the building footprint is what, I don't actually think that part should be amended, because basements never counted toward that anyway.
Right.
I think the other ones where a finished basement used to count and now does not, those need to be amended, in my opinion.
So living gross volume.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
those are the ones.
Makes sense.
Any other comments on any of the other sections? Peter, do you have?
Do you have any feedback for any changes that you want Peter to work on for next month?
Unfortunately, I didn't read this thoroughly. I didn't have it, and that was my fault, but anyone else?
No.
I kind of would just personally like to play with the numbers a little bit more. I mean, maybe I'm just being a stickler about it and 10% is fine. But I like social, was like, why 10%? How'd you get to that number? But you answered that question, Peter. And so for me, it's just sort of creating this, visual in my mind of what this looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to hold other people back if everybody feels comfortable. Or Peter, if we have to, move forward on this quickly,
No, we don't have to move forward on it quickly.
can we look at it a little bit more?
Yeah, the other thing is I don't know if anyone was around when that ordinance was originally written. Maybe
was.
12, maybe
I
12
think,
years ago.
We were around, but not on the board. Yeah.
Margie and Mary were probably,
Yeah.
around, but it's been amended a few times.
Mhm.
They might, yeah, I mean, the folks that have been around longer might know the original intent there and have a better sense of,
Yeah,
I mean, certainly Jen has the expertise of what size of houses are coming through her office.
mhm.
Okay, all right. Well, give it
But
a-
there's, like right now, there's probably a lot of houses with a footprint of 1,900 square feet to avoid this.
Yeah, or just hitting the 2,000,
Right, or like 3 feet under the.
Right,
and applications underway that are already
right.
aware of the 2,000 and designing their homes around that.
Mhm. And applications that have yet to come, that, people can make these changes.
Mhm. All right, so should we table this to the October meeting?
Okay,
Okay?
Mhm.
All right. So that was all of number 3, because we'll table the floor area and gross area and the thresholds. Okay, the 406 also.
Yep.
So we'll go to number 4, zoning ordinance amendment, review and act on amendments, recommendation of the town council, including a finding of consistency with comprehensive plan. That's section 202 definitions, number 96 household. Does,
So
go ahead, Peter.
this one-page memo actually took a very long time to write. So it was very hard to shoehorn what I thought maybe the town's interest would be into the state law requirements. So the issue here is that New Shoreham used to have a limit of 6 unrelated persons per household. The state changed the law and they've said you can only have a cap of 5 and it can be no less than 1 per bedroom. But when we talked about an initial amendment with the board last month, a lot of board members brought up the point that there's a lot of seasonal workers that live in households who are unrelated, and that's an important part of New Shoreham's economy. And so we shouldn't be too strict. So I had the idea to focus on properties that are connected to the sewer system and able to handle that increased load, and as compared to properties that are not, and pulled the plumbing ratios out of the building code. They don't have them for households, they have them for dormitories. So the dormitory standard is 1 shower per 8 occupants and 1 water closet with a lavatory per 10 occupants. So I suggested that you match those thresholds with a maximum of 16 occupants per household, and then matching the RIDEM RIDM engineering of septic systems, which are 2 persons per bedroom, and then being a little more discerning about properties that do not have public sewer or a RIDEM approved on-site wastewater treatment system, septic system. So those are 1 person per bedroom. And I'll leave it at that.
Any
I
comment?
thought,
A question, I have
Yeah.
a question. I'm really curious. From a long time ago, how do we define a bedroom? Does it include a closed closet or is it just a room?
So it's not in so much in the zoning ordinance as it is in the general code, and in the short-term rentals ordinance.
So you have to, it's a building code. State building.
No, it's a town ordinance.
Defining a bedroom is? No.
Yes,
Do you happen to know what the definition of a bedroom
I can compare
is?
it. Yeah,
It's
I
a
can
town,
pull it.
it's a town building code. Is that right, Peter?
No, there's a state building code. There's no town
Right.
building code. There's this town septic ordinance, and I thought it was short-term rentals. Let's see. Yeah.
But I don't think a bedroom is defined by a closet. It's defined by privacy, I believe.
Right, a door.
Any room in a residential structure which is greater than 70 square feet in area, which is susceptible to present or future use as a private sleeping area,
Privacy.
has at least one window of 4.4 square feet, 1 interior method of entry and egress, excluding closets and bathrooms.
Is it 4 foot? So, well, I just learned how to speak English yesterday. Peter, is the measurement of the window for egress? That
Yes.
1 4 foot, okay.
And this is the
Yes, there's an
definition.
egress requirement from bedrooms.
Right. This is the definition under the short-term rental license.
Oh, okay.
Which coincide with the state definition, correct?
Correct.
That makes sense.
I'm still foggy on the whole issue because people can then simply say, use a room for a study or an office and call it a bedroom
Sure.
in order to increase the number of people that can live in that house.
Well, isn't that defined? Or isn't with short-term rental anyway, based on septic?
And
Correct.
based on
Short-term rentals are
Yeah.
based on the septic.
a bedroom. driven,
And
yeah.
it's based on whether or not you have a legal bedroom. So you have to, you have to comply with this definition.
You have to have a definition of a bedroom. But you know,
But the definition of the bedroom is nothing.
It is more than a study without a door.
It's room, it's windows,
It's
it's.
a window, it's
Yeah, I
safe
understand, but
egress.
You see my point, right? That if you have X number of rooms in your house, and as long as they have the window and a door for privacy, you can call it a bedroom, whether it is or not.
Right, but to your point, it's how many bedrooms you can have is like your septic is bedroom driven. The size of your septic, which is in here too. To accommodate for bedrooms, because you've given bedrooms a definition by capacity and OWTS and septic by capacity.
Mhm.
I thought this was funny, Peter, in your memorandum dated September 2nd, page 1, I guess, page 1 of 1, where in the first sentence, your description is, we have reduced health concerns compared to year-round communities. It just sounded funny. Due to New Shoreham's, the second sentence, due to New Shoreham's significant seasonal population, household occupancy at a greater density than the public health benchmark of 1 person per bedroom is possible with
Right.
reduced public health concerns
Yep.
than faced by year-round communities. Are those reduced public health concerns simply because, as you say in sentence 3, because we spend more time outside?
That's a big part of it. Also, if there was a measles outbreak or something, another COVID situation, the ability to isolate your own bedroom was an issue in some of the more densely populated communities. And New Shoreham is more densely populated in the summer when folks are outside. They could go sleep in a tent if they needed to, or on a porch if they were in a more crowded household. Also, if there was a pandemic or an epidemic, there'd be less people on New Shoreham touristically because folks wouldn't be traveling there. And then in the winter, where there's respiratory diseases are more of an issue, there's a lot less folks on the island and a lot more opportunity to spread out across the island.
And yet during COVID, more people moved to Block Island because they felt safer here than on the mainland.
It was off season too. So New Shoreham's people are summer residents and year-round residents.
Did I use the word people? Is that your question?
You said New Shoreham's people spend a large amount of time spent outdoors in the summer when populations are higher.
Sorry about the grammatical error there.
That's all right. And its limited winter population reduces public health impacts of increased household density. I get what you're saying, and that's interesting.
So in Central
About,
Falls,
you have
have a
outbreak.
3-bedroom house with 8 people living in it, and just no opportunity to spread out in a public health disease situation.
No, that was interesting background based on your writing here.
So the census tracks, they say, I think it's overcrowded is more than 1 person per bedroom, according to the census, and then severely overcrowded is more than 1.5 people per bedroom.
And what's the size of a bedroom again, by that state definition?
70 square feet, 7 by 10, basically, or 8.5 by 8. Basically, a prison cell.
Yeah, it is small. That's enough for 1 person, but not 2. Is that right? By definition?
A double bed, I think, is
Oh, sorry.
6 by 4, right? So
Yeah, that's teeny.
gives you like 2 feet around the bed.
Any other comments? Is everyone comfortable with this definition, or should this be?
I say give it a chance. Let's see how it works out.
Do we
just
want?
so-
Sorry.
Just so I'm clear, we're getting rid of the maximum number of people who can live in a house to get together, but we're saying that there can only be 1 person per bedroom in that house. Is that?
No. So
Okay.
if it's sewered, it's 16 people per household. If it's on a septic, it's 2 per bedroom. And if it's neither of those, i.e. a cesspool, it's 1. per bedroom.
Do we have many cesspools on the home? Right. Okay. But there will not be, there's no maximum number, like if you have a house that has 12 bedrooms, you can have 12 people living in that house if you have
So,
the
so
right
it's
It's per septic, yeah.
per septic. It's
24,
all per
24, you
septic,
need a
that's
12
the-
bedroom septic, which there aren't
Okay,
too many of.
right, sorry, I'm just making a point.
Okay.
But it would be too many if it was a Seward property.
Right.
Okay, and this is something the state is asking us to update.
We cannot apply our current restriction.
It's a variation of the state definition, right? It's less restrictive.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but required nonetheless, this is something we need to polish up and approve or send this, does this get sent to the council?
Yeah, currently there's no cap on
Do we
households.
feel this is ready to be sent to the council?
The language, I think, could be a little clearer around the sentence 2 and 3.
Yeah, so I want to write a new section
Yeah.
Okay,
with Karen, so that's what we would do. There'd be a section on household density and we list it out, so we can do that for you for next month. We might want to add the definition of bedroom.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
So
Clarifies.
we can
And
do
maybe-
that.
or refer to the section in the zoning ordinance or state ordinance. It's up-
Or do both,
You, whatever you advise or Karen advises.
or do
Like-
both, just to make it clear and maybe make clear to your reason for talking about public health concerns, reduced public health concerns. I think that's helpful in the reading of it to help people in the future understand why
Okay,
this is so.
I agree.
Okay, terrific. So are we ready to go to, is everyone satisfied with that?
Yeah.
Great. So we'll go on to number 5, zoning ordinance amendment, review amendments regarding development plan review. Peter, if you could give us an overview on this. I know there's going to be probably more review necessary and what have you,
Right.
but thank you.
yeah, so this one I think will require some pretty serious.
Mhm.
Review.
Oh, hold on. I'm looking at guarantees. That's for, sorry, let me go back to DPR. All right, so New Shoreham has historically had development plan review, and the state limited it pretty significantly a couple of years ago, and New Shoreham elected to limit its development plan review. So, Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think presently at the moment it's mostly the prominent properties of the dump, the health center, and the school that are subject to development plan review.
That sounds right. I know it was allowed like through an administrative review process and that was for the state, amendments. And I think the board made those amendments based on the fact that the planning board still reviews the special use permit applications.
Right.
Where they would do special use and DPR.
Yep.
So it's working out. I think, I mean,
Mhm.
Okay.
I had a question today, Peter, for Jen, is where are the definitions of all the varying reviews? Administrative review, development planning review. Is there such a thing?
I mean, there's definitions in the zoning ordinance and then in the subdivision regulations, so. it
Yeah, I think it's towards the
depends
end of the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
on this-
Because someone, I think it might have been Tom Rism asked me today, he has to go before development plan review. And I couldn't answer the question, but I need to find out where the definition of the development plan review is, so I could answer it in the future, I suppose.
Well, he's probably talking about the special zones, like the public education
Yes.
zones, so that's specifically the only permitting authority is the planning board, and pretty much everything goes before, the planning board for review
Okay.
for that property.
Mhm.
And then the medical center is also another special zone, so there's a few of them.
Okay. But the development plan review isn't that little ad hoc, not little, but the ad hoc,
It's not technical review.
No,
not
it's not
technical
technical,
review.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So development plan review is section 704. I'm just telling you in the in the zoning ordinance currently.
In 704, okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then it used to be, was it 501, Jen?
No, it's always
501
been 704 for development plan review. 501 is the
was the standards?
special use permit, and there's standards, I think, and maybe there was DPR standards that they refer to, yeah.
Okay,
And so development plan review, as far as I can tell in the town, is really just one property. Which is a planned development zone.
Which is a what zone?
The planned development zone.
Oh, planned development zone. Uh-huh.
And I think that's along New Harbor. Let me just pull it up.
Two planned development zones. There's one in Old Harbor. It's the Aldos, Old Harbor Meadows, and then Salt Pond Settlement
Right.
is the other one in New Harbor.
Thank you, Jen.
Mhm.
So there's some changes, proposed changes, just to line up the terminology with the state law for the planned development zone. And then my proposal was that in those three kind of town-wide areas of prominent concern, the dump, the old dump, now transfer station, the health center and the school, that a more appropriate review process might be a major land development, which is advertised more like a special use permit. And that gives the property owner a lot of flexibility in terms of how they develop those sites, just like with the planned development zone. We did, as part of these rules, re-enable development plan review, but have not applied it in the ordinance. It could be applied through the subdivision regulations at a future date.
okay. So is this a section that we need to review a little further and finalize in October?
Yes.
Okay,
Does everyone have the actual draft ordinance?
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
And you have a memo from Libra Planners. Okay, I just want to make sure you have.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Great.
So that, right, there's the updated definition of development plan review. And then just a lot of cleanup.
Mhm.
And then it goes into those three zones: public education, public utility, and medical center. And a little bit of cleanup.
Is,
Maybe there's one other place that still has DPR in the town, Jen?
what's that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Is there one other place with DPR?
Well, I would need to look at.
Was it
that.
secondary?
Michelle said an ADU, see also ADU amendment. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, we'd have to search. I think you're right, Claire. I think there could be.
I think it's used.
A second, I
I'm
think the
just-
second
I'm just
ADU.
saying what Michelle said was that.
Yeah, I think I remember from when we did the ADU ordinance. It's a second ADU is currently.
No, that's a special use. permit.
No?
That's a special use permit. We can search the ordinance again and just
Okay.
make sure that we're capturing all of them.
Okay. Okay,
All right. So we'll get a new write-up on this.
Peter,
Sorry.
are you going to amend your proposed ordinance and for next month? Sosha's asking.
So I don't think anything needs to be amended on my end.
Okay. Unless we find.
Right, we may find stuff between this month and next month, and certainly if board members find stuff, or if anyone from the public comes up with anything, we can change it at next month's
Okay.
meeting.
okay. Are we moving on to land development and subdivision regulations? Review and set a public hearing on the proposed amendments. 903 improvement guarantees, 905 maintenance guarantees, 906 acceptance of improvements. Peter, I would love to have an overview of that, and then I have a couple of questions.
Absolutely. So this is probably the most straightforward of these 4 items. And this again was a change in state law last year, so that Land Use Council prepared this amendment. This is to the subdivision regulations. And it just replaces the word planning board with permitting authority, because sometimes the administrative officer, Jen Brady, is the person that will approve the minor subdivisions or theoretically a minor land development project. And there's an opportunity here under section 905 for the planning board to set what the amount of the maintenance guarantee is. And that's pretty much it on that one.
All right, I have a question regarding the solar energy number 6. I don't have the page open, but it mentions if your property generates, I think it was 150% of the power, then it goes into a different type of, I should open it up, sorry. Going by memory. Let's see. Sorry, one sec.
I just have some typo thingies that I could do while you're looking for your document.
Okay, thank you.
On page 2 there of this document, there's a repeat. Number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, line 5, the words conditionally approve are repeated.
Are we looking at the same document?
I hope so.
You should be looking at, it says section 903, 905, and 906.
Oh, I was in a different one too, yeah.
Hold on.
I think too.
You're still looking at development plan.
Okay, so it would say, on the first page, it says public guarantees.
Yeah.
Section is 903.
We're looking at this document?
No, we're looking at the one that has 903.
903, 202.
Look in development plan on your state.
I guess I don't know.
I have it here if you want to look at my laptop.
Or I think they.
This was in my mailbox. Okay.
Mary, is it okay?
You can have that, Sosha. I had another one, Jen. I gave it to you.
Okay.
Okay, then I don't have a comment because I haven't looked at that one.
You had 2 copies, Mary? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and my comments were on the earlier section, but I can just.
We can jump back to that if you.
Sure. Well, and one of them you briefly mentioned, the town of New Shoreham, number 9 in section 704. That's the entire island when you're referring to town of New Shoreham?
Hold on. I have
That
to-
was, no, I gotta
Yeah.
find that page. Let me just see here. You mentioned it briefly when you started talking about it.
Oh, the growth center.
Yes,
Are you
the
looking at
growth center.
center?
That's the entire town. I take it is defined as the town of New Shoreham is.
Right, so that language, if you look right above it, those Roman numerals, those are the only locations where development plan review is allowed.
Okay,
So in order for New Shoreham to have development plan review, it has to apply to one of those categories.
okay,
And the state does not define urban or growth center. So there's an opportunity for the town to self-define itself as applicable to development plan review.
okay. Yeah, I just didn't understand whether that it was referring to the entire island as being considered the town of New Shoreham, because it uses town of versus just New Shoreham. Not, I don't know that it matters.
Yeah, that'd be a good question for Karen.
Gail, are you on the section that says 703 improvement guarantees?
I'm trying to find where I am. No,
So this is the one that we're looking at right now.
yes, I have that one.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sorry. I already looked at, yeah, I looked at that. No, we jumped back to the earlier. Yeah, thank you. But I cannot find where my other question was. Oh, here was a question I had in 403 secondary dwelling development, jumping back. There is a sentence that might then refer to something else, but number D, planning board procedures. The planning board shall review the application for a secondary dwelling development pursuant to the provisions of the land development and subdivision regulations, and unless unified development service review is authorized. So I think I just answered my.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of versions floating around. It looks like something got messed up there, and this
Okay,
D does, yeah, D should not end like that with a comma. There should be something there. So we'll figure that out.
Okay. And if I could find my solar energy question, it talked about 150%, over 150% would put it into a group or where's the solar?
Oh, yeah, I've read that too.
Yeah, so that's 517.
517. Yeah,
So this is land development project. And so
oh, yeah, there it is.
basically the concern is around like a solar farm. And so if someone was developing a solar farm, it would have a higher standard of review. Whereas if you're just putting, like we had with the health center, if you're doing something like that, then it's within the existing review system.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I had. And then where are the definitions which you answered? Anybody else have questions, comments?
No.
So we will, Peter, do you have any other input that we should be aware of? We'll just further review and approve in October?
Right.
Okay,
Now, Jen, I got this document in my mailbox. It's called definitions, 202 definitions. Did we cover that today?
No, we already, we sent that to the council.
Oh, that's done?
It's before the
Oh,
council.
okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
okay. So the next item on the agenda is number 7, approval of minutes.
Can you do that next one? Or did-
Sorry,
Wait,
Guaranteed.
I don't think we finished.
Oh, we didn't finish the land development and subdivision regulations 903, 905, 906.
Right.
So
So
you could schedule the public hearing, so this is a little bit different than the previous items on the agenda where you're recommending to the town council. This is different, where you hold the public hearing and you're not making a recommendation to the council because you approve the subdivision regulations.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I skipped that over. So we're setting a public hearing
Correct.
for October.
I
And
would
there-
schedule it for November, if that's okay with Peter, only because we have to advertise for 3 weeks in the paper and it's gonna be pretty tight.
That's fine. The regulations were reviewed last fall and I wasn't sure if they ever actually got amended. So we were gonna schedule any amendments we might need from last fall at the same time.
Yep, so we'll
Okay.
do that in, right, in,
So we can do those both in
November.
November if that's okay with the board.
Okay,
So you would make a motion to set the public hearing for amendments to the land development and subdivision regulations for section 903, 905, 906 for November 12th.
okay. I'd like to make a motion to set the public hearing on the proposed amendments, 903 improvement guarantees, 905 maintenance guarantees, and 906 acceptance of improvements for November 12th,
Second?
2025. All in favor?
Aye.
So that motion carries. Thank
Um,
you for your help.
It is 5%. I just was noticing that we can increase the performance bond up to 10%.
Correct.
Like, I just don't really know anything about this. Is that something that should be increase? Is 5% the standard? Like, I just don't know much about that. Is that typical to leave it at 5%, or because we're on an island and
It's so
stuff that goes on here, we should? Are there a lot of contingencies? Should we
I can check
increase
with
it?
the finance director.
Great.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, I just don't, it just was a question I had.
yeah, these would be pretty rare out here.
Okay.
This would be like maybe street lights, where you're requiring a developer to install street lights. And so they'd have to set aside funds for maintenance. And that'll be coming up in a 2025 law amendment for you folks. But it would be like they'd have to leave a cash with the finance director, or you could maybe do hire an insurance company, which is kind of hard to do these days. And I think the third option is basically a contract with the funds set aside. But it is not the easiest thing to manage. So I think the amount is less of an issue. It's more the application of it.
Okay,
Okay.
But obviously,
you.
the
Just we
developer would
have
want
the
to deposit less with
opportunity
the town.
to Talk about it.
Yeah.
So I just was worth talking about. Thanks for checking, Jen.
okay.
So you don't have any answers, just make a motion.
Okay, we'll move the approval of minutes for October.
Yes, we just have to do it.
Okay. And then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.